I'm actually going to go to the face of the nonsense. I'm going to go to the face of the guy who keeps saying that it's all about health and safety, health and safety, health and safety. I'm going to go out to the fraud known as Sean McDermott. Now, I get it. It might seem sensationalist of me to call him a fraud and to call it a joke and to say that it's all bullshit. But in fairness, it is all bullshit. We're going to go out to Sean McDermott because I am going to give a ton of credit here. Elliot Shore-Parks can be heard in this video. This is not his video, but he is in the scrum around McDermott. And I'm going to give Elliot Shore-Parks a hell of a lot of credit because he didn't get into it with Sean McDermott, but he certainly openly questioned the hypocrisy. So again, this, if you didn't see it, this to me once again proves that McDermott is lying through his teeth and that ultimately McDermott, for whatever reason, is going to continue to push this nonsense narrative that there is a legitimate injury concern to the Tush Push. Listen to this back and forth. We'll pause it every once in a while just to make sure that we're being fair. But let's go out to Shawnee McDermott. I called him Shawnee the other day. I'm going to keep calling him Shawnee McDermott. Let's go out to Shawnee. Oh, you can't hurt the players. Oh, the poor players. There's no injury data to prove that there's an actual injury concern, but
Similar to how I felt at the combine. I've done, I've dove deeper into more of the data on it and.
Excuse me, signore, per favore. What is the data that you're using? What is this data? Let's get into it.
Just thought more about it as well, and my position hasn't really changed at all.
I dove into the data. Might change. It hasn't changed. Why am I doing a stereotypical Italian? Should I go Irish? Because he's McDermott. I assume he's Irish. All right, so what the fuck are we talking about here, Shawnee? You dove into the data. What did the data tell you, Shawnee?
At all. I feel where I'm most concerned is even though there's not significant data out there to this.
Oh, I dove into the data. The data told me that I need to continue going against the Tush Push. Okay. But there's actually not a lot of data to support what I'm saying. But I dove into the data. There's not a lot of it, but I dove into it. And then I thought to myself, oh, yeah, that seems like a sound, good rationale. Okay.
At this point, my biggest concern is the health and safety of the players, first and
Based on what?
foremost.
What are you seeing with the health and safety of the players? Since, as you said, there is really no data to say there's injuries. Like, what are you seeing?
Yeah, I think
That's Elliot Shore-Parks. Pushing back. Good job, Elliot. Good job.
anytime you get in, it's two things. It's force, added force, number one, and then the posture.
Added force. Guys, I don't know if you know this or not. There's not added force in football. There are no plays in football that have added force. What exactly is added force? I actually do at some point want to have the chitty chat about the tush push versus, like, I don't know, turn around and handing the ball to Saquon Barkley. We'll get there in a second. Okay.
Of the players, being asked to execute that.
You see the hands? The hands to me say insecure. Now, I'm not a body language expert, but he kind of stepped on his own, with, I dove into the data. Now, there's not a lot of the data there, but yeah. I dove into the data, and it tells me that there could be an injury concern. Yeah. Now we got this applied force. Too much force coming in. We got too much force. Okay. But he's doing this.
That type of play, that's where my concern comes in.
Do you think you'll continue to run the play if it remains? And you have
Oh, shit. Elliot Shore-Parks, I don't know if you heard it. He said, will you continue to run the play? Yes, Shawnee. Shawnee, remember, I'm just saying, you're a guy who runs the play the second most times in the league. You're saying it's unhealthy. You're going to keep running the play, Shawnee?
you have concerns about the safety. Do you think you'll continue to run it? Because I think you ran it quite a bit last year.
Oh, that is a beautiful question. Elliot Shore-Parks. This is chef's kiss. I'm going to tweet at Elliot later. He won't care, but I'm going to tweet him because it's beautiful. If you're concerned about the injury concerns, are you going to keep running it like you have? Because you ran it a lot last year. Okay.
A form of it, right? A form of it. So I think it's a loose term, really, in terms of what defines a tush push.
Oh, now we're getting into the semantics of what a tush push actually is. How are we going to break it down, Shawnee McDermott? How are we breaking down what a tush push is? Do you have multiple variations that you want to go to? Okay. Ford asks, and I do a very bad John Gruden impression, but maybe a Gruden would actually make a lot of sense here. Let's go back. I'm gonna re-rack this a second, and then maybe we'll see if we can break it down with a little Gruden-esque.
What defines a tush push in terms of what? So I think it's a loose term, really, in terms of what defines a tush push. It's
a great thing, man. I'll tell you what, man. I love the tush push. You want to talk about a play that gets guys excited? When you get to push another guy's tush, man, that's what it's all about. We call XYZ banana push the tush. He wants to say, oh, what exactly is it that makes it a tush push? I'm going to give you a little bit of an idea there, Sean. You take the guy, you take his tush, you push it into the end zone, man. It's great stuff. 4th down, goal line. XYZ banana, push the tush. That's it.
So there's different forms of it out there. I know we are one of the teams that people identify that run it. That's fair. There's other.
Well, no shit, it's fair. We've all seen you run it. That's the problem, dumbass. All right, continue.
Other teams as well. So I just look. We're gonna always act in a way that's best for
hypocritical.
The health and safety of the players, and I think that's the responsible way to go.
Okay, so guys, I know that sometimes I get hyperbolic. I get it. Sometimes we get a little bit goofy. On the show. We had an Irish accent, an Italian accent. We had John Gruden. There was something else. I almost went into a Matt Foley at 35 years old in a van down by the river. I get it. Things get a little bit unhinged on the show. There is no way to try to make logical sense of Sean McDermott's position on the tush push, okay? If you want to be another team and you want to make the case, fine. But here is the truth. Here are the facts as we know them. Sean McDermott is now leading the charge against the tush push, which is fine. He says it's because of health and safety reasons, which is fine. But he said, I dove into the data, and I'm still of the belief that it's risky to players. And then admits there's not a lot of data to support that there are injury concerns, and we're going to continue to make intelligent decisions. We're going to continue to make decisions based on this limited data. And then when asked, what data are you referring to that shows player safety issues, he says, well, it's really about the applied force. And then when pressed on, why is it that if you're so concerned about the play and the safety of the players, why are you as a head coach calling it as much as you are? Why, Sean McDermott, have you called the tush push the second most times in the National Football League? One would assume that if you want to be consistent in your logic, you would say, it's an unsafe play, we're not running it. Or it's an unsafe play, it's 4th and goal, it's the AFC Championship game, we're going to go for it because we have to, and we think that Josh Allen can execute it. We're going to do it even though I know it's dangerous, we're going to still try it. But no, you run it the second most times. So why are you going out of your way to effectively contradict yourself? There is nothing there. All right? So let's re-rack it. Sean McDermott says, I dove into the data. There's not a lot of it, but I dove into it and I believe that there's a player safety thing. If the data were water in a pool and Sean McDermott dove into it, he'd break his fucking neck because there's no data to support it. That's it. Case closed. It makes no sense. So then you go, okay, fine. Let's just assume that there is a case to be made that there is a potential. Remember that league executive from the player safety committee, that executive said that the argument right now is about what may be, not what has been. What may be, not what has been. I don't know if these people are aware. Football is a very dangerous sport. Okay? Now, I did not play football. Look at me. Okay? The tush push. Could it be dangerous? Sure. Is there still impact? Sure. Let's think about what the tush push is, right? The linemen have to get as low as they can, right? There's always that clash between the offensive and defensive line. That doesn't change. But it's all about getting low. Fine. You're getting a guy in Jalen Hurts who can squat like 600 pounds. You're getting that guy to slam himself forward into the line just like you would on a regular quarterback sneak. The difference is that you have Saquon Barkley who can squat like 500 pounds behind him and maybe another player or two pushing Jalen Hurts. But we're not talking about they're running from 15 yards away and they're decking Jalen Hurts. You don't have somebody lining up 20 yards behind the play to come in and slam into Jalen Hurts. It's a shove forward. You want to call it a rugby play, that's fine. And there have been some people who said it's more of a rugby play than a football play. And that's fine. But can we at least be honest that, like, just conceptually, Jalen Hurts goes for what is essentially a quarterback sneak with a couple of guys pushing him versus Jalen Hurts turns around, hands the ball to Saquon Barkley, who has a multi-yard lead up, right, coming out of the backfield, who is then going to run as fast and hard as he can and slam into guys at the line, whether it's his own player or a defensive player or a linebacker trying to come up over the top. There's going to be an actual collision, a high impact collision. So, like, your idea here is we're worried about the positioning. Like Sean McDermott said, the positioning. What about the positioning? What is it about the line or about Saquon Barkley pushing or Jalen Hurts going through the line, again, akin to what a quarterback sneak would be? What is different about the positioning? And what is the catastrophic injury? Because I saw the quote going around yesterday. The catastrophic injury potential. What is it? That a guy is like more horizontal, and so if there's an impact, it's going to break their neck? Well, sure, I guess that's possible. You can also have a guy break their neck going across the middle of the field. You could have a broken neck from a helmet-to-helmet hit. Are we going to legislate hitting out of the game? Are we going to legislate crossing routes out of the game? Are quick slants going to come out because a guy's running at full burst, but maybe he gets jacked up across the middle of the field? Like, is that where we're going? I don't think so. So again, what is the reason that you're actively trying to ban the tush push? You've admitted there is no tangible data to suggest that the tush push has led to injuries. You are talking about potentially outlawing a play that through 3 seasons has not led to any injuries, and you're saying that, well, we're worried about the potential. Then there are a lot of other plays in football that have to go.